The Premier League is back. After 3 weeks and a long international break, the Premier League is finally back this weekend. With 7 games left, the title race, the relegation battle and the European spots are still to be decided. Game week 32, let's get into it. Starting off with the biggest game of the weekend, Chelsea against Manchester City. Now this is a big game for both. Chelsea going for Champions League football, Manchester City still going for the title. Obviously Chelsea last week in the FA Cup quarter-finals beat Port Vale by 7-0 to secure their place at Wembley. Man City dispatched Liverpool by 4-0. But for Chelsea, their last Premier League game was a 3-0 defeat away to Everton. And Man City's last Premier League game was a 1-1 draw away to West Ham, which made them slip further in the title race. If City want to win this title, they pretty much have to be perfect for the rest of the season. But this would be a good start, going to Stamford Bridge and taking all 3 points. Chelsea, they're not in the best of form at the moment. I know they beat Port Vale, they were always going to win that game. Before that game, though, they lost their last 4 in all competition. They need to get wins as fast as possible if they want to play Champions League football next season. I just think City are too strong at this moment in time. I think City will just nick the win. I think Chelsea will make it difficult for them, but I'm going to go for Chelsea 1, Manchester City 2. Also, Sunday the 12th of April, Chelsea against Manchester City will be my first watch along on the Frank Thinks YouTube channel. I'll be live streaming from 4:15 PM, and if you want the chance to win one of these shirts, make sure you're there. The Roses Derby, Monday Night Football, Old Trafford, Manchester United versus Leeds United. Big game this. United, this will be their first game in 24 days when they play this game. They've had the longest break out of any team in the Premier League. Man United obviously trying to get Champions League football, Leeds United trying to stay in the Premier League. Obviously these two teams really don't like each other, so I'm expecting a feisty atmosphere at Old Trafford. I think it is going to be a close game. I think Leeds will make it difficult for United, but I just think United's quality will get them over the line in this one, and it'll be another massive step towards securing Champions League football for next season. My prediction is Man United 2, Leeds United 1. Next game, a big game in the title race, Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Now, Arsenal obviously looking to win the Premier League for the first time since 2004. They're 9 points clear at the moment. Man City do have a game in hand on them, and they've still got to play each other. But for Arsenal, it is a good lead to have at this stage of the season. For Bournemouth, though, they are one of the most informed teams in the league at the minute. They haven't actually lost a Premier League game since Arsenal beat them in the reverse fixture at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth will not make this easy for Arsenal at all, especially as they're trying to get European football for next season. But obviously, Arsenal at the Emirates, they've only lost once there all season. I am expecting an Arsenal win, and I do think they'll get it. But I can see this game being pretty low scoring. I'm going to go Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 0. Next game, Saturday 5:30 kickoff, Liverpool against Fulham. Now, this is big for Liverpool. They are not in a good place at the moment. Knocked out the FA Cup. Arne Slot is under pressure to keep his job. This is not an easy game for them. Fulham are a good side. They're obviously trying to get European football themselves. And with the way that Liverpool are playing, I honestly can't see them winning this game. Fulham can definitely win this game. They've got the quality to do so. I think it is going to be a close game. I am going to go for a draw. I know it's boring, but I just think Liverpool, they can't lose again. They cannot afford to lose again. I think they slip up. I don't think they'll lose again. I'm going Liverpool 1, Fulham 1. A bore draw. Next game, Super Sunday, 2 PM kickoff. Sunderland versus Tottenham. This is big. Not as big for Sunderland. They have just come off the back of beating their biggest rivals Newcastle twice this season as well, which is a brilliant achievement for them, especially after just being promoted. But for Tottenham, obviously, relegation battle. They sacked Igor Tudor during the international break. Roberto De Zerbi was his replacement. I didn't actually talk about De Zerbi's appointment. I do think he is a good manager, but I just think at this stage of the season, it's very risky going for someone who's not really experienced in relegation battles. Go for someone who knows the club or has experience of keeping teams in the Premier League. De Zerbi is a good manager, and I do think if Tottenham stay up, there is potentially a good future there for them. But ultimately, we're talking about right now, and right now, they're in trouble of going down. There is a chance going into this game, because West Ham play on the Friday night and Tottenham play on the Sunday, there is a chance Tottenham go into that game against Sunderland in 18th. They'll be in the relegation zone if West Ham beat Wolves, which would just be an absolute disaster. The only way they would get out of it is doing something that they've not done all calendar year. Win a Premier League game. It's now been over 100 days since Tottenham last won a Premier League game. They've got 7 games left to save their future, and this is not an easy game to start with. Sunderland away, and ultimately I don't think Tottenham win this game. Sunderland have only lost 3 games at home all season. Yes, they were all in a row, but I just think that derby win against Newcastle will give them massive confidence going into this game. I think it's going to be a terrible start for De Zerbi. I'm going to go for Sunderland 2, Tottenham 1, and there is a very good chance that Tottenham will be in the relegation zone after this game week. Next game, which is also Sunday 2 p.m, Nottingham Forest against Aston Villa. A big game for both teams. Forest obviously trying to survive and Villa trying to get into the Champions League for next season. Forest secured a brilliant 3-0 win against relegation rivals Tottenham just before the international break. The second time they've beaten them 3-0 this season, and I think they needed it. That was Vitor Pereira's first Premier League win in charge of Forest as well. For Villa, just before the international break, a 2-0 win against West Ham to end a run of 3 Premier League losses in a row, and they needed that as well. The form they've been on has been very worrying, especially losing to Chelsea and United, who are also trying to get Champions League football, so I think it was very important for Villa to get that win. This game is difficult to call. Forest, there seems to be a bit about them. I do think they will get something in this game. Obviously, this could also potentially be a Europa League semi-final as well, which would just be incredible for both teams. But in terms of this league game, I'm going to go for a draw. I could see there being goals in this game though. I'm going to go Nottingham Forest 2, Aston Villa 2. And the other game at 2 p.m. on Sunday, Crystal Palace against Newcastle. Again, this is a difficult one to call. Palace obviously still in the Conference League. They're probably focusing more on that than the Premier League at the moment, but they'll still want to win this game, of course. Newcastle, just before the international break, suffered a 2-1 defeat at home to their biggest rival Sunderland, but they've got to try and bounce back. They're at the Champions League, they're at the FA Cup. Their sole focus now is the league games and trying to get into Europe for next season. Because I think if Newcastle don't get European football next season, I think there's big pressure on Eddie Howe to keep his job. I can't really separate these two teams. I think they're both in similar form. So for that, I'm going for another draw. I know it's boring, but a lot of these games are tough to call. I'm going to go Crystal Palace 1, Newcastle 1. Next game, Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. A big game in terms of the European races. Brentford versus Everton. Obviously, Brentford have never played in European competition before, so this could be a chance to create history this season. And for Everton, there is a chance they could finish above Liverpool, their biggest rivals, which would just be astounding. Obviously, considering the money that Liverpool spent in the summer and they won the league last season. But for Everton, there is a chance Champions League nights could come to the Hill Dickinson Stadium, which would just be mental. Obviously, a 3-0 win against Chelsea before the international break has definitely strengthened their chances. And if they can get a result here against a Brentford team who are very solid and have a good home record this season, that would be a statement and a half. Obviously, Brentford trying to get into Europe as well. They're 7th right now, which would be a Europa League place, which would just be incredible. It's crazy because Keith Andrews was Brentford's set-piece coach last season and he could potentially lead them into Europe the following season. I think if Brentford qualify for European football this season, I think Keith Andrews definitely has a strong case to be manager of the season. Same with David Moyes. If Everton get Europe, his name is in the hat as well. But for this game, I fancy an Everton win. Their confidence will be high after the win against Chelsea. I'm going Brentford 1, Everton 2. Friday night football, 8 o'clock kickoff, the first Premier League game after the international break, West Ham against Wolves. This is huge. Obviously, West Ham are trying to survive. And Wolves, even though they've been on good form, I just think it is a little bit too late for them to survive. But essentially, they could just ruin everyone's season. They beat Liverpool, they beat Villa, they drew against Arsenal. West Ham have to take advantage of playing first in this game week. Obviously, before the international break, lost 2-0 to Aston Villa. There is life in this Wolves team, 100%. Even though I do think they've left it too late, I think they're in a good place going into the Championship for next season. But for this game, I do think West Ham edge it. I can't see it being very high scoring. I think it'll be quite scrappy, but I just think West Ham will nick a win. And if West Ham do win this game, it means Tottenham will drop into the relegation zone, which would just be astounding. I'm going to go West Ham 1, Wolves 0. And the final game to talk about, Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff, Burnley against Brighton. I feel like Burnley are leaving it too late to survive. They've got 7 games left and ultimately they're just not getting results. They've only won 4 Premier League games this season. And I think if you're trying to survive, you need to win more. But I just think they haven't got enough about them. Brighton, it seems like they're rejuvenated. They've won 4 out of their last 5 Premier League games. European football is definitely on for them this season. And I think this is a good game for Brighton to have, especially after beating Liverpool just before the international break. Their confidence will be high at the moment. Burnley's won't be. Obviously, 3-1 defeat to Fulham before the international break. They need to start getting results. But I feel like the longer they leave it, it will just be too late. And I do think they lose this game, Burnley. I just don't think they've got the quality. I think this will be a comfortable win for Brighton and their European charge will continue. I'm going Burnley 0, Brighton 2. Thank you guys for watching, really appreciate it. The Premier League is back. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below your predictions for this weekend's games. And also, don't forget to tune in Sunday the 12th of April, 4:15 for my Chelsea against Manchester City watch along. And also, don't forget to turn on notifications so that you never miss a future upload. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you in a bit.